Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. My name is Chris Chichester. I live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield. And I'm demanding public information from you. And I'll continue to demand public information from you. And you will continue to refuse. I'm using the Freedom of Information Law. This is dated August 10th, 2020. Today's August 11th. That should not matter. I begin. I'm going to tell you what you're going to do in every single one of these. Because you have absolute and total contempt for the law. You're going to ignore every one. I'm going to update each one of these, the date that I write it, which will be soon. And I'm going to send these to you, registered mail return receipt. And when I send this to you, registered mail return receipt, you're going to ignore that too. Because you are above the law in Monroe County, Sheriff Todd Baxter, and District Attorney Sandra Doorley. Freedom of Information Law. Key word here in this document is law. The cost to taxpayers for photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter to photograph 13 public employees underwater in a pool. No, I didn't make that up. I get a feeling of nauseousness when I look at this picture that you posted to your Facebook page with your employees. These are your employees. Did you expend taxpayer dollars to take this photograph, or is this a private event? Is the answer yes, or is the answer no? And I'm going to tell you what your answer is, Todd Baxter, is you will refuse to answer. The cost for a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff employee Ryan Fisher to attend the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019 with his canine dog Lola. Ryan Fisher is still employed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. How does Ryan Fisher go out of Rochester, out of Monroe County, out of the Empire State of New York to Mercedes-Benz Stadium? How does that happen? Did you, Todd Baxter, personally approve this trip with Ryan Fisher standing here with his beautiful dog, this German Shepherd Lola? Did you approve this trip? If he's there with his dog, then the dog needs to be cared for. So it's not only a plane ticket for Ryan Fisher and a hotel for Ryan Fisher, it's the care and feeding of his dog. Did you expend taxpayer dollars for a hotel, for a plane ticket for Ryan Fisher to go to Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019? Did you expend taxpayer dollars for the care and feeding of his dog Lola? What's the answer to those questions? Sheriff Monroe County, party switching fraud, Todd Baxter. You want people to know that. Your employees sat in the office in all likelihood, I'm guessing, and wrote a tweet. It's about Ryan Fisher, and it's a tweet. This is done on taxpayer time because your employee didn't write this tweet at home. Because it says right there, Monroe County Sheriff's Office. You got a Twitter account. You're tweeting, Todd, baby. I'm trying not to laugh at your stooge incompetence. When I laugh, I'm trying not to. As we get ready to watch the Super Bowl, we are grateful to the men and women assigned to keep fans and players safe in Atlanta, including MCSO's own Deputy Ryan Fisher and Canine Lola. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta. Thank you both for your service. How is this service? He's standing there with his dog in front of a football stadium. Service. If you want public service. There is an altruistic character to it. You're helping people. That is service. And it's done in a million different ways every day. This is not service. Sheriff of Monroe County, Todd Baxter. Cost of overtime, time and a half, or have a pay beyond the base salary is calculated at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. You have your standard 40-hour work week. It's the payroll I've been demanding for 18 months. I'll just go to the first page. I want to see on the first page if there's a six-figure salary. I don't know off the top of my head if the first one is six figures. First page. No. But you pay employees $99,000, multiple employees. That's because you want to get them right up to the point where they do not make $100,000. So here we have Joshua M. DeRuiter at $99,027. So, before the cost of overtime, time and a half, will have to pay beyond the base salary is calculated at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Does. Joshua M. DeRuiter at $99,027 earn overtime, time and a half. However, pay is calculated beyond the base salary. How many of these people on this one page earn overtime, time and a half? How do you do that? How do you do that? Taxpayer subsidized Sheriff of Monroe County, Todd Baxter. When I was a public employee, the Senate Majority Leader Ralph Marino and Governor George Pataki, you had your 40-hour work week, and then you had compensatory time. We're not paid beyond a 40-hour work week. Because even though Albany, as corrupt as it was when I was there, and it still is, Albany is one of the most corrupt state capitals in the United States of America. That doesn't prevent you from trying to do good, because you can try to be in an environment like that and improve it, and also fail. But it is public service, and if you're a New Yorker, you want to go to Albany. And you can go there naive and innocent, and then you're not so naive and innocent after you see what's in Albany when you've been there for a decade. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, based on my experience, there was no overtime and time and a half when I was a state employee. 40 hours paycheck, that's it. And then you had comp time. And every hour you worked beyond the 40th hour, you accumulated, and then you could take that time off. And that time was used to work on campaigns. So if you accumulated 500 hours during the legislative session, you could take all that 500 hours and then go work on a campaign in the fall and still be paid your salary from the state of New York. I don't know if that's the case today. But when I was there, you could take 500 hours of your time, September and October, work on a campaign, get the campaign paycheck, get your state paycheck. This is what goes on in Albany. What I'm trying to say is there are ways to pay someone beyond the base salary. So, how do you do that at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? How many of these employees, here for example, earn beyond that base salary? Is the salary for every single one of these employees? Or are they being paid overtime, time and a half, however that's done, at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? How do you do that, Sheriff of Monroe County, Todd Baxter? Freedom of Information Law. Cost of overtime, time and a half, however paid, beyond a base salary is calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Payroll of Monroe County District Attorney's Office, 4 pages. How long is it going to take me to see the first six-figure salary? How on this list here that I can't see because I'm showing it to you, how far down on this list of names Do I have to look before I see the first one that's $100,000 or more? I don't know off the top of my head. I'm going to find out right now. 1, 2, 3. Took 3 names to go. Ralph Aloco, $63,360. Jacob Ark, $79,746. And Amanda Balling at $108,338. So, Amanda Balling at the district attorney's office makes $108,338. How do you, Sandra Doorley, calculate overtime time and a half? Whoever pays calculate at the district attorney's office. What's the answer? Sandra Doorley. What does the law mean to you, Sandra Doorley? Do you believe in the law? Do you believe citizens have the right to demand answers from you using the instrument called the Freedom of Information Law on how you pay your public employees? Does Amanda Balling make $108,338 all year long, 365 days a year, 52 weeks a year? Or does she make more? What's the answer to that question, Sandra Doorley? Comply with the Freedom of Information Law. Send it to me. My home address is on here. 26 Sanders Farm Drive, Penfield, New York, 14526. What's not to understand about how you expend taxpayer dollars? This is not monopoly money here. Todd Baxter and Sandra Doorley. I've been in the Capitol, in Albany, in the House Rayburn building, in the Russell Senate office building, and I've seen male employees engage in behavior that is sickening in their treatment of women, in their pursuit of women, because they cannot control their base desires. And this manifests itself in sexual harassment. That has 1,000 different definitions, as I said repeatedly. So, do you know what sexual harassment is, Todd Baxter and Sandra Doorley? It can't be defined in 1 sentence or 2 sentences or 3 sentences. It can't even be defined with the simple "I know when I see it." I hate it when people say that. Yeah, I know when I see it. That's ridiculous. Sexual harassment is a specific way that it descends on the human soul. You know what it is. So, the cost of taxpayers of Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter has expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Cost of taxpayers of Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley has expended taxpayer dollars to settle employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to comply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. So, if you, Sandra Doorley, you, Todd Baxter, are presiding over workplaces where your employees effectively are behaving like animals, that is news. That's not only news for the Democrat Chronicle and every radio and television station in Monroe County. That's news for the United States Department of Justice. And that's also news for Governor Andrew Cuomo and the 213 members of the New York State Legislature. Freedom of Information Law. The date Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter rehired Monroe County Sheriff employee Michael Radler. He's paid on the payroll $0. Why? Are you, Michael Radler, paid $0 on the payroll and then compensated in another way? Because why would you be coming into the office if, in fact, you go into the office on 130 South Plymouth Avenue? You're just doing this out of the goodness of your heart? You, Mother Teresa, here in Monroe County? Why would you go into the office if you're paid $0? Are you, Michael Radler, compensated in any other way for when or if you go into the Monroe County Sheriff's Office at 130 South Plymouth Avenue or the other locations? Are you paid any sum of money from any entity in New York because your name is on here, on the payroll of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? You, Todd Baxter, are the freak of the freak show. And I'm going to prove it right now with this next file. The cost of a surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter and fixed to a building at 2025 Penfield Road to monitor if Christopher Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building. I'm walking through the parking lot for the 4,000th time. This psychopath, Nayrosh starts screaming at me. And then you put a camera on this building. That's it right there. It's not the high-resolution photograph, but that's it. That's your camera, and I was on it. Because when you six fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths descended on me after Shannon Meyer fell down on her face in my backyard dirt, and then I was at your jail as an innocent man, your employee showed me the video on the phone. I was on the phone of your Monroe County Sheriff Office employee, and your Monroe County Sheriff Office employee showed me the video taken from this camera, also called a surveillance device. And the only reason why Elliot Roth of this business, where the camera is, says to me you're going to be arrested is he knows that you were there. Elliot, who told you I was going to be arrested? What's that camera called on that building that you occupy, 2025 Penfield? What's that camera called that I can see from where I'm sitting? That camera is called a surveillance device. And Sheriff Todd Baxter bought one to concoct a crime for me for walking through the parking lot. And that's why Sheriff Todd Baxter's the freak of the freak show. I've been around enough of your fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths, Todd Baxter, to see that they're overweight. Not by 5 pounds or 10 pounds. You have employees that are overweight, 20 plus pounds, multiple employees. There was one person, one employee on your Facebook page. He's in the vicinity of 40 pounds plus pounds overweight. I'm looking at him in his uniform. And the conclusion is the obvious one. How does he buy a uniform? Does he need a special uniform? This individual you employ is at a point where his weight undoubtedly affects his ability to do his job, because what happens if he has to run on the job? You will at some point have to run. Because, Todd, perhaps you've heard that criminals like to run away from the cops. You have to be in shape. This is not just the only individual that's overweight. You have employee after employee after employee that's overweight, because I see them all the time in Monroe County. I was in my bank 2 weeks ago, and there's your employee, and he's obviously overweight. I haven't seen this one before. Obviously overweight by about 10 pounds. It wasn't as bad as some of the others, but he's overweight. You can tell overweight without even knowing the pounds. What do you have? What kind of PT test do you have, if you in fact you have one? In the Army, you have the push-ups, sit-ups, 2-mile run. What do you do at your Jonestown to keep your public employees in shape? Todd Baxter, and the answer to that is nothing. Prosecutor talks in court, right, Sandra Doorley? Not your prosecutor. Does prosecutor talk in court, Perry Duckles? Documentation for the case, Christopher Chichester before John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the female prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? Send me the documentation. It's a public proceeding, and you're refusing to tell me her name. She stood there in total silence as my rights were abridged by fanaticism. I looked at her. I'm waiting for her to accuse me of a crime. I'm waiting for her to detail criminal behavior, criminal activity, a crime. Not one word. Sandra, I have a photograph here of you. I must say, Sandra, that you are just unusually beautiful in this photograph here. I mean, you look like a queen in this photograph. I must say, pardon me, Sandra, I need to look at this at you. I mean, that is just a stunning photograph. And, Todd, I have a photograph of you here, because you're a sexy beast, Todd. And here you are right here. You can see you're staring at yourself in the mirror with your shiny bald head. Well, that's just, so you're very intense here, Todd, being a sexy beast. And Todd, I have to recommend some products for you while you're looking in the mirror here. This is what I use. This is Axe Smooth Look Shine Pomade. You know, that's really gonna make your hair look terrific. And one other product I have here, Todd, I use this stuff on my hair. You can use it on yours too. Is I use Axe Forest 2-in-1. It's impeccably clean, ready to style. So Todd, I'll tell you, when you're looking in the mirror here, you just remember that this is the shampoo for your hair. All right, Todd? Remember, you heard that from Chris Chichester. And Todd, I'm concerned about one of your employees now that I have the list of salaries I've been demanding, and his name is right here. He's one of your six-figure employees. I'm going to look at it right here just to make sure. Yes, here is his name. I just wanted to double check his name, and here he is, Todd. This is a deputy sheriff. It's your number 2. This is Deputy Sheriff Charles Manson. All right? And, he's one of the guys making 6 figures. You know, on one page alone, you have 9 individuals making $100,000 or more. A $100,000 cop, and that includes Todd, Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Sonny Corleone. And you see, he's a gangster. All right, and you're a gangster too. So that's what you have. That's what you have in common there, Todd. So, I walk outside one day. Here comes a guy in his tractor. I stand right here. I say, they don't own that land. I walk back in my house. I'm outside for less than 30 seconds. How's that a crime, Todd Baxter? I'll wait. And I'll wait forever. Criminal contempt. How is that possibly a crime to get 6 of your fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths? You use this weed whacking, grass cutting loser, Steve Desmond, to get to my house. I go to an out-of-funk PW Fitness, back at the gym one day. Up walks to me Jim's psychopath, Jermaine Bem. He goes like this. I say, I'll be 30 seconds. Bem stands over me, punches down. My head snaps back violently. I had to make an instantaneous decision not to attack Jermaine Benman right there, and I didn't. Go out to the car. Andrew Reale tells me to wait in the back seat of his vehicle. He's talking to Jermaine Benman in front of me, telling Jermaine Benman exactly what to say to me. He walks over to the side of the vehicle with this violent thug and sociopath, Jermaine Benman, and Jermaine Benman says to me, I want to press charges against you in those 7 words. That's how I'm charged with harassment second. Sitting in the back seat of Andrew Reale's Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle. What would you think if Zachary Baxter is charged with harassment second, sitting in the back seat of Andrew Reale's Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle? What would you think if Kevin Baxter is charged with harassment second sitting in the back seat of Andrew Reality's Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicle. What would Mrs. Todd Baxter think about that descent on the character, the lives of Zachary Baxter and Kevin Baxter? So, these people are not opening their mouth. Why do you think I came outside here? You haven't been here for 7 years, and you're suddenly here. Prove you own that land. Leroy Shaw refused. He can't prove he owns that land. Why do you think I was out there? Because I already know that they don't own that land. I already know. With absolute certainty. Monroe County Office of Real Property can't confirm it. They don't have the documentation. How are you possibly coming here and descending on me with this pathetic fucking concoction of criminal contempt second? Because this psychopath Leroy Shaw ordered you to arrest me. This guy, it's in the documents. He's telling your employees this civilian wants me arrested for walking through that parking lot, but not any of my neighbors. How do you allow the psychopath Leroy Shaw to order you around? I'll tell you why. Because you and your public employees are petrified that Leroy Shaw will accuse you of racism. That's why. That's the reason why. That's why Leroy Shaw can order you around at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Ellie Ross says to me, going to be arrested. Mandy Deneau told him that. Again, Ellie, it's great to open his mouth. Later, Kumar Shaw, prove you own that land. John P. Lomenzo Jr. rejected return to sender. He is losing his mind. This guy that sends me to jail didn't even ask me one question. Why are you in my courtroom? Why are you here? How are you charged with criminal contempt and harassment second? John P. Lomenzo doesn't ask me one question. He does not care. John P. Lomenzo Jr. Does not matter to him why a defendant is in his courtroom. He does not care. The 70-year-old repulsive, disgusting, vile, bankrupt hack. Daniel DeLouse III is arrested. There are legitimate arrests. Trying to entice children with candy. He's a child rapist. He's observed doing this by witnesses on Anatel Lust off a 5-mile line. I ride my bike by there. So, Daniel DeLouse III is arrested for this attempt to rape children. He appears before John P. Lomenzo Jr. John P. Lomenzo Jr. doesn't recuse himself even though he knows Daniel DeLouse II. This is the guy I have to appear in front of. Where is his ethics? Where's his morality? He doesn't have ethics and morality, just like you don't have ethics and morality, Sandra, Doorley, and Todd Baxter. So, now, I read the foil. Send me this information. Send me the information I'm demanding in these Freedom of Information Law documents. Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter. I'm going to tell you each what your decision is and what it's going to be every single time you get a foil. You will refuse because you have absolute and total contempt for the law.